Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Friday the 19th of September. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. It is purely to demonstrate how I try to read the market and try to teach you guys using my 30 plus years experience in technical analysis and those techniques. So let's start with Novo Nordisk today that has established a bullish trend short-term bottom and reversal. We had a move up here off the lows and then a setback, a correction, and then we had a beautiful bullish candle there. And now we have a new peak. So higher high, higher low, and higher high. We have established that, and it's confirmed with RSI yesterday closing above the 60 threshold of the RSI, as you can see here, and we have a close above the upper falling trend line. We are still in the cloud here, so a little bit neutral, but there is potential higher. And with the about 6.5% move yesterday, we got very close to the next resistance at 409.65, 409.65, which is a resistance. We have the 100 moving average coming down. They're adding to that resistance, so that could be a little bit of hindrance. But if it can close above, then there is room up to 464.60 resistance area. Then we have the 200 moving average coming down, and we are in what we call the fast area. It went really fast here back in July, end of July, so it can also move fairly fast upwards. But let's see about that. In bigger picture, of course, there's still a long way to go to get back in to previous levels. We can see here how we dipped here well below the 300 level, and now it's starting to build an uptrend. There was divergence here on the RSI. You see indicating downtrend exhaustion. This low here was higher than this low, but here the actual price was lower than over here, indicating trend exhaustion. And we were actually back, well, Novo was back to what were we in 2021, so that's about 4 years of gains that were erased in about a year. So let's see, we are now above the falling trend line here. We can adjust it a little bit just to make it a little bit challenging, so it's just around it. Let's see where it ends today. I don't have a pre-market price at the moment. If we're looking at the US Novo, you can see it also bounced to higher, 6.5% higher there. So it is on course to push higher there on also in US, of course. Moving on to the overall US markets as usual, and Nasdaq 100. New all-time highs, spiked higher, almost up to 161.8 projection at 24,593. We were fairly close to. So let's see if we get a negative candle today, and that will be interesting to watch. Excuse me. We are in a bullish trend, but I would say that we are also in a little bit of exhaustion mode. It is a bit stretched. RSI is showing divergence as it is now, and it actually needs to close above the horizontal line. You can see there, this one here. What I will do, I'm drawing some lines here on the charts, as you can see. So first of all, as long as we stay above 24,000 here, 23,999, then we are still in a bullish trend. Close below, well, then can spur a little bit of a sell-off or a profit-taking move. And we are getting closer and closer to the end of September, and that would not be unusual. It's still a very bullish month, September, compared to other months normally. But I think we'll see some window dressing towards the end of the month before we enter the last quarter of the year, which starts, of course, at 1st October. So keep it on a little bit of stretch there. I would say pre-market, really not much to report. As we can see, a little bit lower, but nothing of significance at the moment. S&P500 also new time high, spiked to 200% of that little correction there. So I will actually consider to remove it, but let's just keep it just for a little while and see what happens today. Here the first minor support or key level is 6,551 and close below. Well, then we could see a correction taking it lower, and also here we are, as we can see, there is divergence on the other side. So key will be, if we get a negative candle today, then we have a top reversal pattern in place. Dow Jones also pushed higher, so same picture across the board in US, to say the least. On in the Asian market, we have Seng a little bit back today. It reaches the 27 plus 27,000 target. Well, it wasn't target so much, but milestone. Then it got rejected, and I think now we can see a correction. We see RSI declining, so exhaustion there also, a little bit of correction, and look out for these Fibonacci levels. But what I will do, I will draw a horizontal line there, and because then we could have some sort of support just below 26,000, 25,918. Nikkei also spiked higher this morning. Here is the future spike to 176 projection, and could also show a correction mood. So I will remove that Fibonacci and add a new one, and we're already down to 38.2. So that was a massive move this morning. I think we could set back a little bit further. Actually, we do have some support levels here around 43,730 and down here just above 43,000. On the European markets, it was a very good day for especially EuroStoxx yesterday, and let's just zoom in a little bit. There we are. Closed above resistance there at 5,444. We just need the RSI to close above 60 threshold to really confirm the bullish trend. But we are already in a positive sentiment, so I think it will occur later today. And we are in for a push towards the previous peak there, so that will be key. But we can see in this region around 5,500, just below 5,500, around that, there seems to be some really strong interest in that region there. So that'll be key to watch next today and going into next week. There we pre-market, it is actually again testing the 786 retracement. Here is the EU50 CFD. Showing that, so we are at a kind of a pivot point here, but we are above the cloud, we are above all moving averages, which are rising, so we should push a little bit higher. DAX, on the other hand, has been struggling and actually closed below the support there we talked about yesterday. But then it bounced, so maybe that was a fall, not a false break as such. We are in a bearish trend, and it will take at least a move to close about 24,064 to reverse that. But if we could see a little bit of a few bullish days, here is the CFD, and you can see it actually formed a bottom and reversal pattern here, doji, a morning like pattern. So I think we could see a bit of a bounce, and I would actually add a Fibonacci to this downtrend there, and think we could maybe see it up to at least 50%, where we have the 100 moving average at 23,907, maybe up to the 61.8. We have some resistance here just above 24,095. On the FX markets, well, euro dollar is sliding slowly back again, and here we can also work with the Fibonacci's again. It is not the strongest levels. It is just to have some guideline. Already taking back 50% of this uptrend. Doesn't look like it, but that's what it has done. Could slide back to the 61 at 117, and then I think it will bounce again. We are in a positive sentiment, we are in a bullish trend, so it should push higher. But shoulda, woulda, could have. There's no certainties in technical analysis. Cable or sterling dollar is really being sold off here, and could continue to sell off further after being rejected here just around the previous peak, not around, just below it. I think we'll see, yeah, one 34.83 is the 61.8 retracement, and then we have the 100 moving. So expect a bounce from there, but will it resume uptrend? It is debatable, but that would be key. If it starts taking that out, then there could be potential down to the 786 at 134.17. Euro sterling is on the move, testing again the 786 retracement at 87.12. I spiked above it. I think it will take it out. We have positive sentiment on the RSI. I think it will push higher, and we're going to look at the UK yields a little bit later. We can see that is also one reason. Maybe they're rising a little bit, at least the 10-year, but I also think the 30-year. So pushing higher, and I think we could see it towards 87.5, maybe 87.75. Yen pairs, well, dollar yen is still quite volatile, but really not moving much in the bigger scheme here. In the bigger scheme of things, we're still boxed in here between the 200 and the 100 moving average. Positive sentiment indicates the breakout should be to the upside. I think it will be to the downside, but let's see. It's not really there yet. I need confirmation. Euro yen setting back a little bit, but we are in a bullish trend. Could push higher to 175 and a half area. I believe that will be the case, but let's see. If it can't keep itself above here, then it could be a little bit of a setback. But if it takes out the peak from today, then I think we'll see that move up towards 175, 176. Aussie yen, well, now it's setting back again. We have a correction, but there's still positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence. Maybe this is the correction, maybe down to the 38.2 at 96.88, and then a bounce, and I think we will see it pushing higher in the coming days and weeks. All moving average, more or less, at least the 155 and 25 are pushing higher, indicating underlying short to medium term bullish trend. Sterling yen, well, it wasn't long it could stay up there, and now we have a correction kicking in, so there's really some strong interest around here. Well, yeah, we were above 201 and a quarter, but then it couldn't hold on. Maybe someone is happy about that, so a little bit of a setback, possibly down to the 786 retracement at 198.60. And then a bounce, because then we have the 55 moving average coming up here. You can see how it bounced here also. So it seems like the underlying short to medium trend, term trend seems to be, and the sentiment seems to be bullish. So it should slowly push higher again. But again, it wasn't that convincing. Aussie dollar setting back now to 38.2 retracement here at 65.95. Still positive sentiment. I think this is merely just a correction, a larger one, but I think we will push higher in the coming days and weeks. I'll remove this one and remove this one. So let's see if it starts turning around, then it could resume uptrend. But there's still risk to the further to the downside, maybe down to around 65.60. The dollar Canada, oh, there we are. It's bouncing once again. It will be interesting again. The key support here, 137.20. Will it form a shoulder head shoulder like pattern and then crash back here? It is debatable. Let's see about it. For now, it seems to be bouncing. And if it can take out the peak there from mid-September, 11th of September, 138.91, then there's potential up to 180. But for now, I will be in a wait and see. But you can see there's positive sentiment on the RSI. There's no divergence. What you can do, and I recommend you do that, you also draw trend lines on the RSI. Sometimes you see a break of that before you see it on the actual price graph. So if we get a close above the falling trend line followed by a close above 60 threshold, then we are likely to see dollar Canada pushing higher and taking out that peak there mid-September. Sterling Canada in a correction, and this very volatile. I wouldn't trade it if it was me. I think we could see it sitting back to the 61.8 retracement at 185.72, where we then have the 55 and the 100 moving average coming up, giving some support. Then I think we'll see a bounce back towards 188. Swiss francs, well, it's almost like it's really, really boring, isn't it? It's slightly bearish, but still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating it should turn around, push higher. But for now, it is still key to hold on above 93 there. Dollar Swiss in bouncing mode. I mean, we are still in a bearish trend. There is no divergence on the RSI. You can see the RSI values have been declining, but a strong bounce. Let's remove this one, and at least the 38.2 retracement, which we are very close to test here, and I think we'll do it fairly shortly. But it will still be a bit of a struggle to get back above. If it does close above the falling trend line, well, then we could see a push up towards 81 level up here, and then we could establish a bullish trend, but it's not really there yet. Dollar index, more or less the same picture, spiked lower and then bounced, a very strong bounce. And what we then can do, we can add a Fibonacci to either the entire downtrend, and then we have the 38.2 retracement here at 97.45. I think we could bounce to that, and then maybe a setback. Moving on to gold. It's now the correction time. Well, there's still positive sentiment on the RSI, no divergence indicating higher levels. Actually, we could still see a correction. 3,613, there's some support here. Could test it and then bounce. We could also see it dipping down to the 38.2 at 3,556. But if it takes out the peak there, well, then there is definitely room higher. I have demonstrated this many times, but you can see here it spiked up to almost the 786 here that's the extension of this triangle-like pattern there. There is divergence on the RSI. As you can see, the RSI value is declining, so we are in exhausted mode, but that can actually go on for quite a while. I wouldn't bet too much against it. I think we will see a new push higher towards 3,800. Silver, bouncing a little bit. Maybe that was the correction. There's no divergence on the RSI, I think. Let's just check that, and you can easily check that, say, okay, is that the divergence? There's no divergence on the RSI. Nope. As you can see, there's a little peak up there, indicating likely higher levels. I still believe we will see a silver up here in the range around 44 and a quarter. Platinum range between 14.48, always add a little bit, and 13.23, always subtract a little bit to the downside, and that's where we are. So really boring at the moment. Copper, on the other hand, is setting back a little bit. Let's zoom in. Still in a bullish trend. High, low, high, low, high. We'll get a higher low if it can bounce. RSI still negative, didn't close above 60 threshold, so that'd be key. We have retraced 38.2, could dip down to a little bit further, but if it closes below, and what you can do if you're trading copper, there we are, 452.55, a close below. Well, then we have established or reversed the short-term bullish trend. So let's see about that. I'll remove this one. Moving on to the energy market and oil that's traded sideways over this wide range here. So and it's not that it's just a guideline merely when you see that because it's too short term. However, it got rejected at the 100 moving average, tried 3 times and then got rejected. I wouldn't be surprised to see it down here testing the 61 plus this support area down here. I could adjust this a little bit and say, okay, these are lows, could be down here. So it's around 61.45, and then we are looking at 60. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, and we are still in a bearish trend. It will confirm it to close below these levels here. I think it will be a little bit of a struggle to get up there towards the 200, and it's all declining, all the moving averages. So I think we'll see it pushing lower. Brent crude oil range 69.53 and 65. European nat gas, in the bigger picture, it's basically just trading sideways, but it is between 33.44, but essentially 33.90 and 31 down here. US nat gas also quite volatile, but still range bound between 320 and 285. Moving on to the yields, interest rates, that of course is key to what's we had this bounce we talked about the past few days. We could bounce to the 61.8 at 412, and it did that. Could possibly also bounce to 420 up here at 420 area with the 61.8 retracement, and there's some stronger resistance. The RSI indicating a downtrend exhaustion, so we could see that that bounce there up to 420. I wouldn't be too surprised if it does that. On the European yields, if I can find them, here they are. EU 10-year also bounced now above the 61.8 retracement. I think we could see a push up to the 786 at 276. If it takes out the peak at 280, then we're suddenly looking at 286, 290. So despite the fact that they are lowering interest rate all around, especially did in USA, well, it has the opposite effect on the 10-year. And the UK 10-year, see today really a strong jump, and maybe that's what's also pushing the euro sterling lower, so it's weakening the sterling. Oh, sorry, it's strengthening the sterling at the moment. Let's see. I think we could see it up towards 475 there. Unless it can close back below 469, then we're stuck back in this range here. And let's just look at the 30-year, also bounced there on UK 30. Japanese 10 pushing higher, and I think possibly early next week we will see it test the 165 peak there and could push higher. We are still in a bullish trend, as you can see, higher, high, high, low, high, 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 low, and so on. And I think we will see it pushing higher. The 30-year, on the other hand, has been declining quite interestingly. Bitcoin, finally, let's have a look at Bitcoin. It is still 117,930. It needs to take out that for a further bullish upside. Ethereum, basically just trading sideways between these levels here, so not much to say about it. I will leave you with that. It is still key support down 4,066. It needs to take out for bearish trend. I think if it takes out the peak here from a few days ago, then we'll see a push higher towards a new all-time, and especially if it takes out the peak there. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and a nice weekend when you get to there. Talk to you again Monday.